All right, this video is a review of the 4 R's of proportional and linear relationships. Okay, so let's start. We got this. All right, let me show you the 4 R's of proportional relationship using a story of Naruto for those of you who are Naruto fans out there. The first R is representation. And from this story here, you can see those 4 representations. It's the words, the table, the equation, and the graph. Those are the representations. And when we're looking at proportional and linear relationships, we will be using any of these representations. All right, and we can make sense of these representations by looking at the relationship. All right, so look for two things that work together. So let's start from the table. All right, the two things that work together are the number of weeks and the total savings. Okay, so we know the total savings if we know how many weeks, right? And then from the graph as well, you can find it, and it's usually the labels of the x and the y axis. Then from the equation, okay, it's usually given to you, it's defined what is the x and what is the y, and those are the two things that are related to each other. And if they don't tell you what they are, then it's just the x and the y that work together. And from the words, it's usually given also, it's right there, the dollars and the weeks. Okay, those are the two things that work together. All right, the third R is ratio. We write the relationship as a ratio, okay? And that means we are going to write them as a fraction or division. So let's look at it. So since we know it's the dollars and the weeks that are related, so we're going to write it as dollars over weeks or dollars divided by weeks. That's how we create the ratio. And then the last R is actually the one that ties everything together, and that's usually the thing that we need when we're trying to get information from any of these representations, and that is the rate. When we simplify the ratio or when we divide, we get the rate. And we specifically look for the unit rate or constant rate of change, aka slope, if you can remember it. All right, so from a table, okay, if you know it's a proportional relationship, all you have to do is get the pair of numbers, the x and the y, and you just divide. Okay, you start with the y and you divide it by the x. 45 divided by 3, and that equals 15. And that is the $15 savings per week, which is the unit rate. Okay, from a graph, okay, I'm going to show you how it's, so you can, to help you remember what slope is, you're going to need 2 points. Okay, so let's say we pick this point, we pick a second point right there. And then what we're going to do, if you will remember what slope is, it's rise over run. So let's find a rise. So we go up. So from the first point going up until we are in the same line as the second point. And then we will try and count how many steps those are from that covers that line. So we started at 30 and we get up to the 60. So that's a total of 30 steps. Okay. And then we will run. So we will try and connect those 2 points. And then again, we will count the steps. And you can see it starts at 2, going to 4, and that is actually a total of 2 steps. Put them together, rise over run. Okay, so rise is the one that goes up and down, so that's 30. And then the run is the one that goes across, so that's the 2. So we write them as the ratio, 30 over 2. We simplify it or divide, and we get 15, which is the same as the first one. All right, from a situation or from the words, it's usually given to you, and you don't have to do calculations just like in the table or the graph. And so you can just read the situation and you will find it usually. And it's $15 a week, so that means the rate is $15 savings per week. And then from an equation, it's also pretty straightforward. You just look for the number that's attached to the x. That is your unit rate or constant rate of change or the slope. And you can just say $15 savings per week is the unit rate. And that's it. If you can remember these 4 R's, then it will be a lot easier to understand or remember proportional and linear relationships. Thank you for watching the video.